Do you want to sell your Bay Area home as is, but worried that you can't actually do that? If you're thinking about selling your Bay Area home as is, then you definitely want to watch this video. Alright, well before I get into all that, I first want to say thank you so much for clicking on the link to watch this video. I sure do appreciate it, and I'm going to do my very best to bring you tons of value for the time that you are watching it. But could you do me one huge favor? Could you mash that subscribe button right there and subscribe to my YouTube channel and click that little bell to make sure that you get a notification every time I put up a brand new fun, fact-filled video, kind of like this one. You know, it happens a lot. When I sit down to talk to people about selling their homes, a lot of them say, I want to sell my home as is. Do you think we can do that? And I get it, you know, I mean, like, a lot of people think that you really have to put a ton of work into getting your home ready for market, spend tens of thousands of dollars, maybe weeks or months in preparation. And I've got some great news. No, you don't need to do any of that. You can sell your home completely as is. Gee, I'm not really burying the lead there. I'm telling you right up front. You can sell your home completely as is. And when I say that you can sell your home completely as is, what I mean is you can leave those dirty dishes in the sink. You can leave cigarettes in the ashtray. You can leave beer cans, on the kitchen counter. You can leave your garbage can unemptied. You can leave that grass in the front yard, up to knee high. You can sell your home completely as is. But I need to give you a little bit of a reality check, and that is the reality is that in most cases, for like 99% of people out there, if you do choose to sell your home as is without literally doing a thing to it, it's going to show up in a lower price. I wish that I could tell you that it didn't matter if you, took out the dirty dishes or the garbage or, cut the grass or did some other little improvements to your house. I wish I could tell you that stuff doesn't matter at all. But the reality is, actually, that stuff does matter. Let me share with you a little sales parable. So it's a parable of the used Rolex. In one scenario, a Rolex is sold in a box of junk. There's a whole bunch of junk around the Rolex. There's like old broken springs and like dead batteries and like rubber bands and like paper clips and just like, bric-a-brac. And there's the Rolex in there, and it's not running anymore. It's got scratches on it. It's not polished. Doesn't look very good. And then you have another Rolex that is sold by a jeweler in a high-end jewelry shop, and it's cleaned and polished, and it's ticking away, and it's in a beautiful box, and it's in a well-lighted display case, surrounded by other beautiful Rolex watches. Now, which one are you more likely to pay a higher price for? You know what? I don't really care who you are. Just about anybody is going to pay more for the Rolex, which is well presented, versus the one which is thoughtlessly tossed in a box full of junk and sold that way. I just think it's a fact of human nature that the presentation, the packaging of a product does affect how much value you see in that product, which is why so many higher end products do in fact have beautiful packaging. Even when they're sold brand new, they spend a lot of time making sure the packaging is absolutely top rate. And the same is true for when you go to sell your house. Yeah, you can sell a Rolex all scratched up in a box of junk, and you'll probably get a fair price for it. But will you get a lot more money for it if you put in a little effort and make that Rolex really shine? Well, of course you will. And so you can sell your home completely as is, but you will see a significant benefit if you do in fact improve the presentation. I'm not saying that you have to go overboard. You know what? A lot of people say, gee, Seb, I don't know how much money I can put into my property here. Well, the good news is that in most cases, you don't actually have to put in tons of money. In fact, the lowest hanging fruit is often the fruit which is the sweetest, right? It's the one that pays you the biggest dividends. Like mowing that grass, for example. Taking out the garbage would be another example. Removing bric-a-brac and creating more space and better lines of sight within your home. Cleaning it. Even just painting the trim of your house. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't really cost that much. That doesn't actually take very long to do, but it does in fact result in a significantly higher sale price in a shorter time on market. And these are things which might only cost you $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $10,000. Not that much money in a lot of cases, but it will in fact pay rich rewards for you. I mean, you could turn $5,000 or $10,000 worth of decluttering, storing stuff, moving it, getting rid of it into a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 potentially higher sale price. I don't know, your mileage may vary. And then where does it end? Where do you end with all that stuff, right? That's what people are worried about. They're worried, okay, I'm going to start this process and then where do I end? Well, here's the thing is that not every dollar that you put into getting your home ready for sale is as worth as much as every other dollar. For example, one big question people have is that, what about my kitchen? Should I do anything about my kitchen, the most expensive room in the house? I mean, let's face it, the reality is that brand new, nice, shiny kitchens, they sell houses. I got to tell you, that's a fact. I mean, everyone loves a brand new, nice, shiny kitchen. Same thing with like a primary bedroom suite, right? With that lovely spa-like bathroom. Everybody loves that too. That also sells houses. But here's the thing. If you already have a brand new shiny kitchen and you replace it with another brand new shiny kitchen and you spend $50,000 doing that, have you added $50,000 to the sale price of your house? No, you've added $0 to the sale price of your house because you already had a previously brand new and shiny kitchen that was just great. Okay, well, maybe your kitchen is only a little bit out of date, right? And then you spend $50,000. Are you going to add $50,000 in value? No, you might only add $10,000 or $20,000 in value because people would have, ascribed that much value, maybe $30,000 to the old kitchen. So you spend $50,000 and you only get a $20,000, $30,000 higher sale price. So you need to be very judicious when you're deciding what you're going to do to your property before you put it on the market. You really only want to do the kind of work which you're pretty certain is going to give you a really, really good return on investment. The kind of stuff you want to address are things which are obviously broken, that are obviously hideous looking, that will in fact shrink the buyer pool for your property. But I do have one thought I want to share with you, and that is that there is a certain virtue in really doing nothing at all to your property or very, very little to your property. Yes, take out the garbage. Yes, empty the ashtrays, maybe cut the lawn. But by not doing a whole lot of work to your property, that really gives you a lot more flexibility to set the price of your property even lower. So here's the thing, and that is that, at the lower end of the pricing spectrum, there are very few homes for sale, right? At the same time, at that lower end of the spectrum, what is there? Most of the demand is at the lower end of the spectrum. So by not putting a whole bunch of money into your property, you are more free to set your price lower. And by doing so, you are moving into an area where there's less competition in the market. At the same time, there's much, much greater demand for homes in that price range. And you know what happens? It's a law. It's the law of supply and demand. A law, by the way, exists in all places, in all times, in all markets, for all classes of property. You exploit that law of supply and demand. And guess what happens to your price when you are in an area where there's not many homes competing and there's a lot of buyers who are looking for those very few homes? You know what happens? Boom! The price shoots right on up. Don't get me wrong, you're definitely going to make more money on the property. You're going to find you have a greater net at closing if you do those repairs. But if you don't do those repairs and set that price really, really low, I think you're going to be surprised by how much less of a margin that you get doing those repairs versus just selling it as is and having a really super aggressive pricing strategy to drive demand for your property and the ultimate sale price really through the roof. All right, well, that's all I have for this video. I really do hope you have enjoyed watching it. And if you have enjoyed watching it, I'm guessing, just a guess, you might also enjoy some of these videos over here. These are some of the most popular videos here on my YouTube channel, so please do check those out. And don't forget to subscribe. I would really appreciate it if you would. All right, that's all I have for this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and please stay tuned.